Morning, Dean. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Um, just can you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you, footballing history, and how you became a part of Welling Town.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, people call me Dino in football. I originally come from America, where I was on a soccer scholarship at the University of Rhode Island, and I came to this country in pursuit of a professional football career about 17 years ago now. So yeah, and played various different levels. Started out kind of conference level with teams like Gravesend, Northfleet, and Lewis. And after a bit of a stint at those clubs, started working my way down the non-league and teams like Dover and a lot of Southwest clubs. So yeah, I played a variety of different levels in this country, and so after kind of focusing on my playing career, I got into coaching at academy level. And eventually, when I started having a family and kids of my own, got into grassroots level, and been doing that for the past maybe 12 years or so, um, which is great because obviously it takes football, right back to its roots and, just looking, helping develop kids and pushing them on and whatever level they want to achieve. And yeah, so I've been doing that ever since, really.
How long have you been with the under 18s at Welling?
Well, this is our first year under 18s. So my stepson, I started coaching him, like I said, about 12 years ago. And we were mainly with a club called K Sports through his most of his youth career. It's only when last year K Sports disbanded, Wellington came in to take over the youth setup, and we naturally transitioned into under 18. So this is our first year under the Wellington banner and our first year under 18s.
And how is your season going so far?
Yeah, it's been a challenging season. A few different things. One, we're making the transition from K Sports banner to Wellington, so naturally, there's some time to build a reputation under that badge. So we're doing that this year, and then it's our first year under 18, so we had a big recruitment season in the summer. Signed about 7 or 8 different players from a good caliber of the Kent League into Wellington. But unfortunately, due to a lot of circumstances, one, kids at age finding work, juggling academy football, school football, and club football at Kent League level was difficult. And also the caliber players, a lot of them went straight into under 23s after a month or two into our season. So yeah, unfortunately, we lost a big portion of our recruitment drive due to those circumstances. So we've been shorthanded this season, which has made it challenging to compete at a very good league, which we're in. But I think the positive thing to take away is we have a really good core group of kids that either been with us for a while and made that transition, or have come in this season and stuck it out. So credit to those players for the efforts they've given us so far. And I think if we could have another recruitment drive and fill a few key areas with some good quality, that would give us a lot more depth and options to play with for the remainder of the season. But more importantly, going into next, when we're second year under 18s, when we're really looking to have a successful season and hopefully push players on to under 23 or men's football, which is our main goal.
Well, I was fortunate enough to be at the game yesterday against Glebe. It wasn't the result that you wanted. However, there were some glimpses of really good football. It's clear that you're trying to get the boys playing proper football.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was a lot of conditions on the day yesterday that made it challenging. One, we were on a very small pitch, so it was a very tight playing environment, and it was heavy as well due to the recent weather. So, our style of football is get the ball down, play through the thirds, look at transitioning as a team. But when you're on a small pitch and in a very boggy, heavy one, it makes it difficult to play that style. So a lot of it was counter, over the top, direct football, which is fine in certain circumstances, but not obviously ideal for how we want to play. And yeah, due to a few injuries and illnesses, we lacked depth on the bench with subs. So I think legs got the better of us, and it wasn't an ideal result in the end. But like you said, there was glimpses there. I think in the first 15 minutes, we were the better team. We had the majority of chances. Um, on another day, we finish those chances and we take a 1-2 goal lead in the game, which changes the outcome. But yeah, it just wasn't our day for those chances, and I think the result didn't reflect, I think, our ability as a team. But sometimes that happens in football.
Yeah, so you dust yourselves off and go again next Sunday, Homesdale. Do you know much about that team and how they're doing?
Yeah, we played them once in the season, and it was a competitive game. That's going back a few months now, so a lot of changes, I'm sure, with us and them may have occurred. So it'd be interesting to see how the two teams fare up on Sunday. But if you look at the standings within the league, there's not a lot of difference between their results and ours. So I think it'll make for a really competitive game. We're going to have a few more players coming back from injury and illness as well, so that'll give us some options in terms of the strategy and formation we play, but also options coming off the bench within the game, which will help with hopefully the result on the day. But we're looking forward to it. We have a new trialist in Jamie as well, who showed really well on Sunday against Glebe. So a second game from us where he'll be feeling more comfortable and confident, I'm sure will help drive us forward as well.
Yeah, fantastic. You talked about the future. What are your plans for the under 18s? Do you plan on taking them to the under 23s? And is it a transition into the first team that you're looking for?
Well, I think for myself and this team here, our natural transition would be second year under 18s. And like I said, given how the season's gone and the numbers we have, I think our main initial goal is to recruit and build this team and try to give it some depth and a bit more quality in certain areas in order to compete at second year under 18 Kent League level. And then from that, obviously, with success as individual players and as a team, there should be some natural progression with those players into under 23s next year, being able to mix between both. And then obviously from there, you're looking at transition into the first team. So, yeah, I think, like I said, initially recruitment, strengthen this team, give us some depth. And then naturally, there will be opportunities for those players in under 23 and men's football next season as well. So I think that's our immediate and long-term goal with the boys.
How much of a link do you have to the first team in terms of the boys being able to, and the under 23s in terms of the boys being able to move into their teams and kind of play between the two?
It's a really close direct link. I don't think we've been able to provide as much support to the under 23 men's team this year, just given the lack of numbers we had and the inconsistency in our roster. But hopefully, like I said, with numbers, we'll be able to support those two teams better next season. But in terms of aspirations, I have a weekly conversation with the chairman, who obviously helps manage and run the first team and the under 23s. And it's our constant goal to develop these boys as quickly as possible and push them onto men's football, because that's the level and ambition that we as a club at Wellington have. We just don't want to see a season out and try and do our best. We want to really push the club, its team, but the individuals as well into the highest level of football that we can, and that they want to aspire to. So yeah, without a doubt, it's a very close connection, constant communication with each other in terms of the manager and the chairman, and that's our aspiration and goal.
Which is fantastic. So obviously that's where the players and the team themselves, that's the aim. That's where they want to get to. You talked about recruitment. What is the plan for recruitment? Do you have a number of days where you do trials? Do you put out adverts? Where should people be looking?
Yeah, so we put out adverts this season so far within the Kent League, and we've had a number of inquiries come through when we've had players on trial at training and matches. So that's shown some success. I think people out there in the general footballing world in Kent is still getting used to, the old K Sports team now being under the Wellington banner, and the more seasons we have under them and Wellington gets established in the area that we're at, which is the kind of the Maidstone area, and playing down at K Sports 3G, people naturally associate, that badge to that area of players. So, hopefully, in the not too distant future, that link up between the two clubs will happen better, and we'll get more of a recruitment drive as we go forward. And success in the first team as well. Players at this level want that pathway, and they want to play for a decent first team, or be in a club that's associated to a decent first team. And our first team's doing quite well this year. They're progressing through the ranks over the past few seasons, which is great. So hopefully that will aid in our recruitment drive as well.
Lovely. Okay, well, good luck on Sunday. Hope it all goes well, and we'll hear from you again soon.
Appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Good morning, Kev.
Morning, how are you?
Not bad. Yourself?
Yeah, good, thank you.
We'll go straight into the result on Saturday, which saw you take on a very informed Deal. What is your overall thoughts on the performance the team gave?
Yeah, performance was decent. I thought. I mean, don't get me wrong, the result hasn't gone the way that we would like, but it was always going to be a tough challenge, the situation that we're in, to get anything against a side that have only lost one game in 25. So, yeah, it was more a case of performance levels being hard to break down, and making sure that we don't give Deal anything cheap and easy to capitalise on. And I thought we did that really well. We didn't see a lot of the ball, but we certainly defended well and were hard to break down. Rode our luck a little bit at times, admittedly, but we were in the game with 20 minutes to go. We're in the game, and then we're looking to make changes to try and nick something towards the end and get a point. And unfortunately, it didn't work out. We let a second goal in, and that was game over. So yeah, performance and signs for improvement with some of the new boys that we've brought in the last fortnight was good. There were definitely positives that we can take from the game. And if we perform like that against some of the sides in the bottom half of the table, and that's key, we need to make sure that we do that, then I think we'll be in a better place in a few weeks' time.
So would you say that having maybe more options on the bench would be a key factor in getting those results, or even picking up a point?
We got a bit more excuse me, sorry, we got a bit more competition for places now. I mean, we were a little limited on Saturday with inavailability of one or two due to injury, and a couple of people that we decided we didn't really want to take a risk on. And all of the players that we had on the bench on Saturday were all midfield players, which limited our options a little. But that's not their fault, obviously. But yeah, there's a healthy competition now. We've got 20 or 21 in the first team group. Looking forward to a first training session tomorrow night with some of the boys that have only just joined the club. And as I say, the injection of quality players with a positive, fresh attitude to things, having only just arrived at the club, will hopefully rub off on the regulars that have been here for a while. And we can look forward to the Erith game this weekend with a bit more confidence and try and get something out of that one.
Do you think that there's a mindset on the players that they know that they have to turn up against a team like Deal, who, if they win their games in hand, will go top of the table, compared to when they play maybe teams in the lower end of the league?
There shouldn't be, but I think unfortunately there has been, for one reason or another. I mean, it's quite noticeable to me that we've played better against some of the teams at the upper end of the table. Glebe were very complimentary when we played them at our place a couple of months ago about our performance on that evening. As I say, Deal, we didn't have a lot of goal scoring opportunities, but we certainly defended pretty well in open play, in my opinion. And we beat Whitstable away, which, not many people can say that. So, yeah, there have been some good performances against the better sides. Unfortunately, when we've played the teams in and around us down the bottom, we haven't picked up the points that we needed to, and the performance levels haven't been the same. So that's the challenge now. We need to make sure that's done. And probably our worst performance of the season, ironically, was when we played Erith Town, and that's who we've got this weekend. So we'll certainly need to make sure that we put that right.
I was going to mention that I did look at the result. It wasn't a result that you will want to be carrying forward. Have you watched many of their games since then? How are you planning on approaching this game?
Erith have had a consistent management team and personnel for most of the season, and I don't think that there's going to be an awful lot of change to what they do this Saturday compared to what they've done most of this season. So we won't be taking anything for granted. But that game against Erith Town earlier in the season was the worst result scoreline wise in the history of the club. So we've certainly got something to put right this weekend. We know a lot of their players. A lot of their boys, 2 or 3 in their squad, have played for us previously, and most of them have been in and around this level and in this division for 4, 5, 6 years. So I don't think there'll be any surprises. They're a good side. They're having a good season, but we know what they're going to bring to the table, and we need to make sure we're ready for them.
Do you ever watch any of the footage that goes out on any of the other teams to do the homework or go and watch them prior to you playing them?
Of course, yeah, it would be naive not to. I mean, that's probably one of the things that's worked against us as a club over the years, that everybody then does that to us. So, yeah, anything that's available, we'd use that resource, of course.
Do you feel that that's not having an impact then?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably on me personally. I think, I try and get as much information as I can about who we're playing. It's important that I personally give my players as much information as possible about who they're playing against and what they're likely to do. But then it's up to the players when they're on the pitch to implement that. So it's a combination of both factors. Yeah, I don't think there's been a situation this season where anybody's been ill prepared or surprised about what they're coming up against. So everybody at the club, management and players, need to take ownership. Ultimately, I'm normally of the opinion that if we do what we're good at, and if our players do what's asked of them, then 99% of the time we'll be okay.
Definitely. Okay, well, good luck for Saturday. Hopefully you can get as many fans down to cheer you on as possible. That always makes such a difference to the team morale.
Local derby at our former home ground at Thamesmead. So it'd be good to go back there for the first time in a few years.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, we'll speak to you again after the game.
All right, take care. Thank you.
Thank you.